Good morning, good evening to you guys. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm glad it's not raining anymore. It looks absolutely beautiful there. And I'm super excited today to host Alberto Torelli and Laura Fanfani of Collazzi. This is our first combination of vineyard tour and tasting with Collazzi Vineyards. What we have done today is we've partnered with a really great small retail shop called Bottles Up, which is in Lakeview in Chicago, and they are selling packs of the Bastioni, Liberta, and Collazzi Rosso that we will taste today. They're actually selling them all week, and I'll put this up on YouTube afterwards, so anyone who may have missed it or wants to revisit it and taste the wines on their own will have the ability to do so. So without further ado, Alberto?
Yes?
Who are you? What are we doing today?
So, welcome to everybody to Collazzi Estate on the Collazzi Hill, right in front of the city of Firenze. We are here in the middle of Chianti Classico, and I want to say thank you to Bottles Up, to the wine shop that with Steve is organizing this tasting. And I want to say thank you to our new distributor in Illinois, H2 Vino, because who is helping and who is supporting Italian wines and Italian winemaker are more than welcome to come and visit a place like this, a place like Collazzi, where I am actually. Some words about myself. I am the winemaker at Collazzi since 2005. This is my second job position since when I became a winemaker. I used to work in the north of Toscana before to come to Collazzi, and I decided to move to this estate when I met years ago the owner, Lamberto Frescobaldi, because Collazzi, it's the private summer house, the private villa right outside Firenze from the family Frescobaldi. Even if we are not and we don't want to be included in the Frescobaldi big umbrella, because we want to do everything totally separate, different style, different winemaking process, different type of cultivation. Even in the vineyards, it's totally different. And Collazzi, it's 400 hectares, that is approximately 900 acres, one block, in who me and the owner, we decided to dedicate to the wine production only the best 65 acres. And honestly, we are so crazy that we decided to plant 5 new acres in March. As soon as we know about the COVID disaster, me and Alberto, we were sitting, and he said me, Alberto, why not? We'll go there. And so we decided to continue our process, because we finalized chemical analysis on any single plots of land in Collazzi, and we were looking for 100%, totally 100% Galestro vineyard. But this is something that I want to show you later. Collazzi, it's, as I said, it's one block. The majority are olive trees. We have actually 29,000 olive plants, and Collazzi is one of the bigger producers of olive oil extra virgin from private olives from the middle of Toscana. And the commune where we are, that is Firenze, it's divided in 3 very great areas for wine and olive oil. And the one where we are is the commune of Impruneta, where we make the majority of olive oil. So the estate, it's only one block, but it's divided on 3 different communes: Candici, Impruneta, the best for the olive oil, and San Casciano, one of the most known commune for the Chianti Classico. So I want to go with Claudia to show you something in the vineyard, and I will bring with me a bottle of Bastioni.
So is there a major difference in soil type for growing the olive trees in Impruneta, for Sangiovese in San Casciano?
Yeah, there is a big difference because Impruneta is more famous for the cotto. Cotto is a type of material, 100% clay soil, with who in the past the Florentine, the Medici were using this type of material to cook the part of the Duomo, the big church in the middle of Firenze. So the Duomo di Firenze, the Dome of Florence, was made with Impruneta material cooked in Firenze to realize the Duomo by the Medici family. And this type of soil is more vocated for the olive trees. Instead, in this part, the middle of Toscana, we have three other types of soil: the Galestro, the Alberese, and the Pietra Serena. This afternoon, we have the chance to see Alberese, that is it's this type of soil. So even if you are more energetic than me, it's not possible to crash the Alberese. The Alberese was created by the movement of Europe and Africa 45 to 60 millions of years ago. And it's a super, super dense, super solid, super hard type of rock, like this one. So much more vocated for Cabernet Sauvignon, for Merlot, for Cabernet Franc, and even for Petit Verdot. The two varieties that we decided to grow on 100% Galestro soil instead are the Fiano, the white grape variety, the Sangiovese, and the Malvasia Nera. So those are totally grown on Galestro, as much as Cabernet Sauvignon, as I said, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and Merlot are more vocated on Alberese. The difference is in the texture. If you see the soil, here we have lots of land, lots of soil. Instead, in the next vineyard that I will show you, you will see that we have only stones, but medium to low density stones. If I push on it, I can crash Galestro. Something that with Alberese, it's really impossible. You cannot crash it. So, friends, this is the Cabernet Sauvignon vineyard, planted in the 1993, and this is the heart of Collazzi Super Tuscan.
Okay.
Planted in the 1993, so actually this is close to 30 years old vineyard, and we already made the selection of the new shoots. So Claudia can let you see that for any single cordon, we have 1 and 2 new shoots coming up. And believe me, 3 to 4 weeks ago, we had 5 new shoots coming out from this cordon, from this part of the old vine. But actually only 2, so this is the first selection that we do every year, and we call it Green Harvest. And you can see this will be a Cabernet Sauvignon bunch. Probably we will have the flowering in 5 to 10 days, no later. And approximately this year, the fertility is very low, because during the winter we had not too cold months, fertility has been not so incredible. Normally, from a Cabernet Sauvignon like this, we can arrive to have 1.5 kilos per plant, kilos of fruits. But this year we will be approximately at 1.1, 1.2 kilos maximum. Then after the green harvest, we're used to 0.9 kilos, 0.8, no more. Because in Collazzi, as you can see, we have only 1.6 meters between the two lines, and we have only 85 centimeters, so less than 1 meter between the first and the second vine, and then the third, the fourth. So we are close to 7,000 vines per hectare. So this is a medium to high density. And when you have this type, this level of density in the vineyard, it's better to reduce below than 1 kilo, under 1 kilo per plant, the production. So now is the moment to let you see the first wine that we taste this afternoon. It's our Chianti Classico Bastioni. The vintage is 2007. The appellation is Chianti Classico, and you can see it, Chianti Classico. The appellation is a DOCG, Denomination of Origin, Controlled and Guaranteed. Guaranteed by the consortium and controlled by the consortium of Chianti Classico. The one that is represented by the black rooster. So, Steve, do you want to ask me something?
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to taste it with you as well. You know, it's 10:15. Why not? No, I think you know, it's really interesting where I get to taste this wine a whole lot, but you know, not in any way, shape, or form as much as you do. So, you know, I have my own notes that I have from tasting the wine, but I'm really interested. You as the winemaker, what are you thinking? You know, tell us a little bit about the vintage and what your goal is when you're making Bastioni. What does Chianti from Collazzi taste like for you, and what is the goal?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for asking. So, Bastioni Chianti Classico, at first, it's a blend of 3 different varieties. It's not 100% Sangiovese. Why not? Because in this plot of land that it's 7 hectares, close to 18 acres, we decided to reintroduce the Malvasia according with the University of Florence, and then Lamberto decided to introduce a specific clone of Merlot that makes very small bunch, very small berries, and gives not the typical sweetness to the Chianti Classico, but that gives a different silky taste. Okay, so 80% Sangiovese, 18% is Merlot, and 2% is Malvasia Nera. That's the blend that normally we use for the Bastioni. And specifically, the vintage that we are going to taste is the 17, one of the most difficult, because but one of the best. One of the most difficult because during the spring and exactly the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of April 2017, we had the frost in the vineyards of Chianti Classico and in all the vineyards of Collazzi in general. So if you can show to our friends the photo, the Google Earth photo that I gave you, so they can better understand how Collazzi is divided. Because in this state, do you have the chance?
Yes, I'm getting it set right now.
Perfect, thank you. Because Collazzi, it's only one block, it's only one estate, and me and Lamberto, we decided to dedicate to the wine culture, not all the land that we have here, but only the best plots. So we have some plots north exposed, we have some plots southeast, and the majority are southwest. Okay, consider that here we are at 220 meters on the sea level, and the higher part of Collazzi is 300 meters. So it's not so high, the estate Collazzi, but this is the character, this is the microclimate and the terroir that gave us the best Sangiovese possible here for this part of Toscana. Because I want to remember you, we are so close to the city, only 7 miles from Collazzi to the city of Firenze. Really, if you come to visit us, you can take a taxi and be in Collazzi in 15 minutes, no longer. So, Bastioni, Sangiovese with a bit of Merlot and a bit of Malvasia Nera. Allora, the first sensation, it's obviously on the color, because Bastioni, it's not 100% Sangiovese, so it's not light Chianti Classico. By the color, you can immediately understand that it's a medium body Chianti Classico, and it's red Rubino, it's a Rosso Rubino with good reflex going to a dark brown color. Medium density. The first notes that are arriving to me, it's strawberry and cherry immediately. And this is by the Sangiovese. And obviously, you understand that it's a wine aged for 30-40% in barrique, and 20% of these barriques are new. So you feel a touch of new oak in the total blend, but it's a very, very elegant nose. It's a very, very elegant perfume. Even considering that we are not a big producer, but Bastioni, it's I think Collazzi is the only producer of Chianti Classico that actually is making only the Chianti Classico regular vintage, not the Riserva and not the Gran Selezione. We make from 7 hectares only Chianti Classico, because our idea is to communicate the best possible under the name Chianti Classico.
Alberto, we're looking at the map right now. So we have the Agricola for Collazzi. We have the villa. Where is the Bastioni vineyard in response?
The Bastioni vineyard is the one that you see down on the left.
Okay.
Can you see that one?
Mm-hmm.
It's the one down on the left. That's the Bastioni vineyard. And the one where we are now, instead, I think it's the one right below Collazzi Società Agricola.
Okay. Exactly. Yes, that's that one.
Perfect.
Okay, because I can't see all now the photos, but I think
the one you pointed before, Steve, was the right one for Bastioni.
Bastioni here, and then this is Collazzi?
Exactly.
Perfect.
So, Steve, you see the distance? It's about 350 meters, but where I am now is Chianti. And that plot of land, it's already Chianti Classico. So it was not easy for Collazzi to communicate both Chianti and Chianti Classico. So me and Lamberto, we took the decision to remove Chianti, Florentine Hills, from the Collazzi estate, make only Chianti Classico, and the rest of the vineyards now are IGT, typical geographic indication. That's it's not a big difference, but so we are allowed to grow not only the Sangiovese, but the international grape variety too. And because this soil is more vocated, having the Alberese rocks in, it's more vocated for Cabernet respect to Sangiovese. So going back to Bastioni 17. Bastioni is a medium body Chianti Classico, very fresh, very refreshing, but the acidity it's not very high. Can be approximately 5.5 grams for tartaric acid per liter, and that means a very good one to be Chianti Classico, but not too high. And it's refreshing my palate immediately, but it's giving me great sensation of silky, of density, and the retrogusto, the final taste, it's like the sherry notes that are more typical from the Merlot part of blend. The Merlot that we use in the blend, but it's a very, very elegant wine, even considering the volumes of bottles that we make every year and the price point that we can offer the wine. So, if you have some question, please.
Well, I think tasting from my side, I always think that, especially in a vintage like 17 where it's so warm, was so hot and drought was such a big part of the vintage that you get really nice soft plushness. It doesn't lead towards the fruit being any more dried. The acidity is still pronounced, and the tannins are really, really easy. And considering, 2018 is about to be, it's not too far from being released by us, that this is still really showing extraordinarily youthful, extraordinarily fresh, and it seems like something that, because of the structure of the wine, will be able to last for 5 to 7 years still in this very, very fresh place. Do you agree?
Exactly. I agree with you totally. And I want to say you that the 17, of course, was very dry the summer, if you think to July. But and then August was not dry, but the temperature were very high. But luckily, on the Chianti Classico, I want to remember you because in this part of Toscana we harvest the Sangiovese normally the first or the second week of October. And believe me that from the 20th of September we had the good rainy days that permit to Chianti Classico Bastioni to arrive to the sugar concentration perfectly, but conserving acidity, even if the body in the middle of September was a little bit heavy. But with the last days of rainy, we had new water in the soil, and the vines started to not making concentrated grapes, but very elegant.
Fantastic. Well, I adore this wine. It's definitely one that I love because it's something, as I like to say, it's something that I've sold to great restaurants, but it's also something that's comfortably on my parents' dinner table. It's a great value and a great wine. So, and a really good introduction to the style of Collazzi. But I want to switch over to Laura now to talk about the villa.
Yes,
so that we can see this sort of historic and architectural monument that is connected to the winery itself.
Perfect.
Hi to everyone, and thank you for organizing all of that, and thank you for being there and listening and watching our beautiful estate. So I'm actually where Collazzi was born, so at the villa. Villa I Collazzi was, by the way, I am Laura and I help Alberto with the sales and marketing, because before he was doing everything, and now I do the traveling, so he can rest in the cellar. rest
And rest in peace.
And so yes, here in the 1560, the family Dini, one of the most important and famous Florentine family, like the Medici, began to produce wine, but before they built a beautiful villa to retire for the holidays. So it wasn't the villa where the family Dini was living, it was just a villa to escape from the city of Florence. So the family Dini, Augusto Dini, was a medical, was a doctor. So it was actually belonging to the corporation of Speziali. So they were healing with the spices. And many, of course, characters of the family passed to this villa. So doctors, politics, popes. But at the end, this villa was actually lived by the family Dini for many, many years. I'm showing you before the backside. So I'm showing you the view of from the bastion of the villa. So the villa is built on a bastion that takes the name from the label of our Chianti Classico Bastioni. So we are actually on a bastion that was built not for defense, but for to contain the weight of the villa, because the soil was actually really, really fragile, and so was better to build this bastion. And if you see, maybe it's too far, but we can see the city of Florence. We are just 7 kilometers, as Alberto said, and all this land, all these olive trees belongs to Collazzi. Because Collazzi, here is the villa. Collazzi was at the beginning the biggest Florentine point of extra virgin olive oil production. In 1560, the villa was built with a cellar underneath. So actually in the basement, there is still the old cellar with the biggest olive oil mill of all of Italy. So imagine that Collazzi was, yes, a villa, but also a wine and olive oil estate since the old times. So the family Dini built the villa in 1560, and in 1933, the family Marchi, which is the actual owner of Collazzi, bought the villa and restored the facade, because this side of the villa was uncompleted. So they actually added this part of the villa because it was actually half was remain uncompleted. And you can see the original project, and I will show you later. On the label of Collazzi, we have the original project of the villa, where we miss one side. The villa is 3 floors, and half of the surface is hidden by channels, where the workers can pass without being seen from the family. The family Marchi, which is the owner of Collazzi, is connected with the Frescobaldi family from because the Marchi Bona is the mother of Lamberto Frescobaldi, and she's married with Vittorio Frescobaldi. So this is the channel between Marchi and
the connection between Marchi and Frescobaldi.
As Alberto said, we are not under the big group of Frescobaldi. I want to show you.
Yeah, could you, if you can show what's pretty pretty amazing there is if you can point out, although it's a little pixelated, you can see the Duomo that was built from the Albarese, in Impruneta from the villa, correct?
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
done by
Steve?
the clay soil of Impruneta. The clay soil of Impruneta is Albarese is a types of stone, but the clay soil of Impruneta, it's the one that the people could cook and realize stones.
Sorry. Here you can see the gardens, which was built later on by the family Marchi, and where you can see one of the most beautiful Italian garden built by Pietro Porcinai, one of the most important garden architect of the time. And you can see this pool that now is just like a stone pot, where Lamberto, when he was young, started to swim, actually. So this is
Fantastic. Well, we're really fortunate because today no one's at the villa, so we're gonna check out the inside in just a little bit. But let's switch back to Alberto in the winery.
Okay.
Alberto?
Yes. I'm moving. Okay. Can you see me?
Perfect.
Yeah. Good. So right in front of the vineyards and right below the master cellar where we make the alcoholic fermentation, where we receive all the bunches, where we select the berries on a sorting table. Then, after the first period of maturation with the liquid and the skin in contact, we move everything for gravity without using pumps. We move everything for gravity by upstairs to the barrique room. And this is the place where all the single grape variety are aged for a minimum of 14 months. I hope that we will not lose the connection. I will do my best to offer you a complete visit and a complete view of the barrique room. But we know perfectly that inside the connection is not so powerful. So I'm sorry if we will use the connection. But come here, Claudia. Continue to see me, Steve?
Yes.
Guys? Perfect. Perfect. So in this room, we have actually 500 barriques, 225 liters per barrique, Slavonian oak and French oak. Not toast, medium or low toast barriques. And we don't choose the heavy toasty type of hook wood because I don't like that, and was the style of the super Tuscans years ago, something that in Collazzi we were not doing in the past, and something that in Collazzi we will not do in the future, because Collazzi, yes, it's a blend based on Cabernet Sauvignon with Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and Petit Verdot, but it's a full body wine, but as I say, it's a very elegant wine, not a full body wine, type of super Tuscan that were very heavy, super rich, super concentrated. This is the place where for at least 12 months we age separately Sangiovese, Malvasia Nera for Bastioni, and then Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and Petit Verdot for Collazzi, and then Petit Verdot for Ferro, that has been the very first 100% Petit Verdot from Toscana, and then a portion of Chianti, the only grape variety that we have in Collazzi, and it's partially aged in Austrian wood. This one. So in this room, we have actually all the vintage 2019, and the blend of Collazzi will be done in September. The blend of Bastioni 19 will be realized in June, and then back in Barrique. Even if, as I said to you, Bastioni is partially aged in Barrique, and the majority in stainless steel vat. And Libertà is a 50-50 oak and stainless steel vat. So in this room, we have only the vintage 19 for any single grape variety in single barriques. And from the photo of Collazzi Estate, you can exactly understand that when I speak about Merlot or Cabernet Sauvignon, I'm not talking about one type, because we decided to split 1 hectare in 4 different lots of land. So we have in that hectare 2.5 acres, even 4 different types of bunches. Different clones or different varieties. So at the end, in this room, I have something like 10 types of Cabernet Sauvignon and 5 or 6 types of Merlot, and just 1 type of Chiano, obviously the white wine, and the same for Sangiovese, the same for Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot. So we have different types of different varieties, and then we decide how to realize the best blend for the single season. I want to show you something incredible, because when you see Collazzi, you don't understand how old is the tradition of wine in this place. But
you might want to take the bottle out of the cellar so we can see it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I have 2 types of the very first Collazzi wine. And as I said to you, Collazzi in the past was Chianti, only Chianti. And I'm talking about 1969 Chianti Florentine Hills, Chianti Colli Fiorentini, that is not with the black rooster, but with the little baby. And that's why we used to call it in Italy Chianti Putto. Putto is a nickname of a little baby. And this was Chianti Collazzi with the same label of our top wine, the Bordeaux blend, the same label, but Chianti. And this was a size, very interesting. It's a 0.72 liter, not 75. Then this one, probably the first type of Magnum. It's a Magnum. It's a 1.5 liter Collazzi Vino Chianti wine, DOC, denominazione origine control, and realized at Fattorie Collazzi, Colle Ramole, in Pruneta, Firenze. So this is only to explain you that in Collazzi, the tradition of winemaking, it's not started in the 90s, but in the 60s. And this place was vocated for olive oil as much as for wine since many years, we can say. Obviously, we have not a story of 300 years and 25 generations, but the story of Collazzi, in Collazzi of winemaking, it's very old. And now we go back to the barrique room, or wait me here because I bring a bottle of another wine and we taste it outside. Okay,
Let's
Steve?
taste it outside. Yeah, outside is better.
Okay.
It's a little clearer.
this morning it was not easy for me to find a bottle 750 of Libertà 2015. And you know why? Because 2015 has been quite a spectacular vintage for Toscana, and Libertà sold out in a month. So this morning I was checking, really, I was checking in my private cellar, and because I said, no, I need to have a bottle. And then at least I found 2 bottles. So if this one will be spectacular, I will enjoy with my wife for dinner.
Perfect.
And because it's really one of the last. So Libertà means freedom, and Laura later probably will show you the 2 lions in front of the villa. It's a blend of Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and Syrah. This is a blend made with the Merlot and Cabernet Franc that I decided to not use for Collazzi, the Super Tuscan, but very good Merlot and Cabernet Franc. The reason why I decided to use a bit of Syrah is because in this area, Cabernet Franc has not a very high acidity, so it was necessary to introduce a little bit of Syrah to improve the acidity in this type of blend. And we make Libertà since 2008. It's a very low wood aging wine, but done with the same grapes and with the same system of viticulture of Collazzi, our top wine.
I'm just in front of the 2 lions, Alberto. So
thank you, Laura. So probably you can see the label of Libertà, and you can see the 2 lions where Laura is located now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, and also it's a different blend than the Collazzi Rosso. Is that a decision that you make for freshness and for it's being ready to drink earlier? Is it because of the vineyard itself? What made you decide to make Libertà with different varietals than the Collazzi Toscano Rosso?
Because honestly, I want to make a Merlot-based wine in Collazzi, and the idea was to make not 100%, because this is not the microclimate for 100% Merlot, but it's a great climate for Merlot. If you can match Merlot, if you can blend Merlot with other grape varieties that give a little bit more freshness, and this is Syrah. And Cabernet Franc, because I love Cabernet Franc, honestly. It's one of my favorite grape variety, and in Collazzi works very well, even if we cannot arrive to have super structure, super body. So the idea to make a Merlot-based blend, and this is Libertà, it's because in this soil Merlot works spectacular, and it's not necessary on this type of wine to use too longer aging period in barrique, but just a bit. Frequently, I want to say you the truth. Frequently, I refresh and I clean the new barriques for Collazzi, putting Merlot and Cabernet Franc for Libertà the first month.
Okay.
So the most rich tannins are in Libertà, and then we age Libertà in stainless steel tank just to give more complexity and not more richness. And from the point of color, Libertà is a medium to full body wine. Wow, great.
Mm-hmm.
Much more mature respect to Bastioni. This is because of the vintage 2015. Tobacco, sherry, cassis. Very fresh, but even young. not oxidation inside the wine. And this is something that I hope you want to know, that Libertà can easily age for 8 to 10 years. This is a 5-year-old wine and looks very spectacular. In a great point of maturation, you can wait 2 years more, but if you drink it now, it's really amazing.
Yeah, it totally over delivers in terms of just that sort of rich, smoky, earthy sort of blend of that florals that you get from the Syrah and Cabernet Franc, and that velvety note from the Merlot. Really put it in a pretty fantastic place, especially with that little bit of age. You're getting something that is just easy to pop and pour over dinner. You can let it age longer, but it's totally settled right now, which is really great. And unfortunately, not usually the case when we buy wine. We usually have to put it away somewhere for a little while for it to come into its own. Let's jump to Laura inside so we can see the inside of the villa.
Yes, I'm ready to open the door of this Michelangelo's villa. I hope guys just let me know if I'm too fast. This is the biggest entrance saloon. Entrance where there is a big billiard that was not actually played as today, played by hand, and there were candles around it to play, to see at night. And the floor, it's all terracotta. So the material that it's famous in Pruneta for, as Alberto told you before. The family Dini, as I said, was living here just for the summer or for the weekends. And all the furniture are from the 15th to the 16th century. Nothing was removed and nothing was taken from. So everything was added from that time.
Wow.
That's
and it's still a residence, right?
Sorry?
The Marquis family still uses it as a residence occasionally, right? So it's very rare that one gets to actually come in and do this.
So the Marquis family is not living here. She, the Marchesa, Bona Marchi, comes here sometimes to do meetings and to do important events. The family lives in Santa Croce. Villa Collazzi is still a private villa, so we organize weddings and events, but they are all private. That's an Etruscan vase example. That's one of the oldest porcelain collection that were painted for the family Marchi by a factory from Liguria. So they were one of the first porcelain collection. And that's one of the church furniture to collect the documents between the family Dini and the other important family, like the family Strozzi and the family Gucci. So inside there are precious books of correspondence between the family and the family, so property, lands, documents. Then we enter in another rooms where we have another billiards, and
Laura, we're losing you. I think the
royal family here. No, I lost the connection in a point, but I was just saying that in the villa slept Charles and Diana from the royal family.
Oh, wow.
So this is the room where they slept, and there was this little couch that Charles loved, and he actually personally asked to the Marquis family to have a copy of it. He was just sitting here and loving this couch. And so the family, Dini, actually had lots of important people inside. And here we have a genealogic trees where you can see that there were some popes also. We have the Leo Pontifex Maximum and all the genealogical trees. And the other rooms where we go now, there are bedrooms, and I'm gonna show you the original portrait of the original project, of Collazzi. That's the meeting room that was used to do meetings and important reunion. And here we have the original Marquis project of the villa. So if you see, we miss one side of the villa, and that's the same label of Collazzi. So this is a project of the Zocchi. Zocchi was a designer, was a painter of the old times. And that's why Collazzi is the wine of the state, of course, because we have the label of the original project of the villa. And I'm going to continue the tour with the other rooms. And I'm gonna
Steve,
go.
can you see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm going to go in the most important rooms of the villa, where we have the most important paintings of the villa. That is actually painted by the architect. And I'm going to enter in the chapel of Collazzi. This is a chapel that is actually built inside the villa, and that's one of the particularity of Collazzi, because Collazzi Villa is one of the fewest villas of Tuscany that has the chapel inside. So it's still a chapel that is used for important weddings, important function of the family Frescobaldi and Marchi. And here we have the most important paintings, which is called The Wedding of Cana. And it's painted by Santi Tito.
Can you turn the camera up a little bit?
Is the... Sorry?
Could you point the camera upwards a little bit so we can get a better picture of the painting?
Here?
Yeah, turn it a little bit up towards the painting. Right now we're staring at below the painting.
Can you see, Steve?
Yeah. If you can take a step or two away from it, we can see the whole painting.
Yeah.
Vieni, Claudia.
Here?
Yes, good.
Yes, so this paintings was painting by Santi di Tito, a student of Michelangelo, and Santi di Tito is also the architect of Collazzi. This painting show the actually Cana wedding, so the transformation of the water in wine. And inside the paintings, there is the family dini, because the painting was painted by commission for the family, and actually also the painter, Santi di Tito. The paintings is painted on wood, so it's a table, it's a wood table, and inside the chapel is there are many important and precious furniture, but this is the one that is the precious, and it's a Pope chair.
When was the chair given to the Dini family?
It was used when the Pope was coming here to make celebrations, so between the 15th and the 16th century.
Fantastic. I hate to cut you short, but I want to, just because we're running a little over, I'd love to get to Alberto and the final wine. So, Alberto, can you hear me?
Yes, Steve. Yes, I hear you. I heard Laura very well.
Thank you, Laura,
for the exposition of the villa. Thank you so much, really.
Thank you.
And probably Claudia can show you where we are now. We are on Mars. Because, guys, believe me, when we talk about 100% Galestro, we talk about something that it's like the lunar soil. It's like to be on another planet, really, on Mars. Because this is 100% Galestro soil that me and Lamberto decided to dedicate to a new replanted vineyard that we planted 40 days ago, and it's already growing spectacularly. And please, Claudia, let them see something, because Galestro, it's such a spectacular type of soil that, look at me, you can take a stone like this and you can easily destroy it.
I see.
Yeah, so Galestro can be of three colors. There is the red, brown Galestro, the blue, light blue Galestro, and then there is this type it's called the light brown yellow Galestro, depending if it has been realized 120 to 90 millions of years ago from the movement of the Africa going to south and Europe going to north. So we have this type of movements, and Galestro came up from the base level of the Mediterranean Sea, that at the time obviously was not Mediterranean, was the ocean, and Galestro came up, making different stratification, making different levels. So actually we are so lucky to use this type of soil that you can take in your hand and destroy in many, many pieces. This is how Galestro is composed. No clay, zero clay soil, so to have elegant mineral and not too concentrated wines. It's the best soil you can have from this side of Toscana. Even if you look around, you think that I am on Mars, and I want to open on this type of soil with you our flagship wine, Collazzi.
So you're going to plant for more Collazzi on this vineyard?
This vineyard, we decided to plant Cabernet Sauvignon, we decided to plant Sangiovese. Cabernet Sauvignon, honestly, we have only 3 lines because it's something that, according with University of Florence, we decided to grow because, as I said, Cabernet Sauvignon doesn't like the Galestro, but the university, because we are so close to the University of Winemaking and Viticulture, and I used to study at that university, unfortunately, 20 years ago, and I'm still in contact with all the professors, and they asked me to make an experimental vineyard here with Sangiovese, with a bit of Fiano and Cabernet Sauvignon. So in this plot of land, that it's a piece of land, it's only 5 acres, we have 3 different varieties. So Collazzi, the vintage is 2016, and I decided to open this bottle together with you tonight, because for me it's really one of the best wines realized at Collazzi since when I arrived. So Cabernet Sauvignon, 50%, with a bit of Cabernet Franc and Merlot, and just a touch of Petit Verdot. This type of blends make very serious and elegant wines, even if these wines are not the bubble gum super Tuscan that you used to drink at the beginning of the 3rd millennium, so in 2000 to 2005. And then step by step, the winemakers and the producers decided to find another style of super Tuscan, using the same grapes, using the same terroir, but without being too strong in concentration.
So you said earlier in the winery that you make a wine with 100% Petit Verdot. So when you're using a blend, Petit Verdot in the blend for Collazzi Rosso, what do you think Petit Verdot brings to the blend, since we've talked about Cabernet Franc and we've talked about Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon so far?
Sure. Yep. So Petit Verdot gives green, black pepper, and mint flavors. Unfortunately, you don't have iron ferro, this is the name of the 100% Petit Verdot in your market, but I hope that soon you can have it. It's a balsamic, eucalypt, mint flavor wine, made 100% Petit Verdot. That is not typical, and it's super difficult because Petit Verdot is a wild grape variety. It's a wild grape variety, means that if you don't take care, spending between 600 and 800 hours per hectare by hands to work the vines, you have something super green, tannic, aggressive, that gives lots of color, but at the end don't give nice sensation, elegant sensation, balsamic notes, but only structure, only body, only full body. And the Petit Verdot that we decided to grow in Collazzi, in the vineyard of Ferro, that is the only vineyard that we have only one type of vine, Petit Verdot. This is the only one that is north exposition. So it's the northest vineyard, and it's 100% north exposition. So Petit Verdot can have a very late harvest. Very late means the 20 to the 25th of October. So the wine, the bunches became elegant, became rich, but the tannins are not green, are super well mature. And when you go to open a berry of Petit Verdot, frequently you can find some seeds green, but not from the Ferro vineyard. Absolutely not. You find only dark brown seeds. That's the type of seeds that we love and we want to have to give more complexity, maturation, and to give to the wine longevity.
Fantastic. So, let's dig into the Collazzi Rosso.
Yep. So Collazzi Rosso, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and Petit Verdot, from 18 to 21 months in barrique. Only French, not Slavonian oak, medium toast. 60% is new oak, 40% is 1 year old. Normally we use 3 or 4 types of barriques, 3 or 4 barrique producers. Dargaud Jaglet, Taranceau, Seguin Moreau, and Vicard is the majority. Look at the color. Here we have lots of sunlight, but the wine is so dark, intense, but not heavy. Absolutely not heavy. Collazzi, when I talk about our flagship wine, it's something that I describe with a triple B. Big, but balanced. Sherry notes, eucalypt, mint, coconut, cacao, a bit of vanilla, yes, and I don't know if it's the wine of the Claudia's perfume, but mamma mia, it's an explosion of perfumes. Collazzi is really an explosion of perfumes. It's so rich that you can find at least 12, 15 descriptors to describe the perfume of Collazzi.
Yeah, that chocolate, coffee, a little bit of that eucalyptus and coconut note is really, at least in the Chicago version of the 2016, it's really coming through today.
So actually you have the 16 in your market?
Yes.
Bene, bene. So in
And
the
in my
palate,
glass.
in the palate, in the taste, this wine shows freshness, richness, and long, elegant complexity. But all the tannins are actually very well connected together to give texture, but to give not tannic sensation, aggressivity. And this is something even if in a great, but not spectacular vintage like 2016, because 2016 has been great, but we spent close to 900 hours per hectare to realize Collazzi by hands. That's a fortune. Normally we stay across approximately at 600, and so to realize something so good, we spend more time in the vineyards, but at the end the result, it's really one of the best vintage ever for our flagship wine. Very elegant. I continue to taste the cacao. I continue to taste the green notes from Cabernet Franc, and I continue to taste this cassis perfume, even in the palate.
Yeah, this is, I guess, a great final note to taste on. These wines, for me, have that, especially in a vintage like 16 with a little bit more pronounced acidity, have this beauty of being both fresh and refreshing, but also very rich, very dense. Yeah. It's definitely, it's something that really does well with food, especially if you are in Florence. A little bistecca Fiorentina would be fantastic with it. But those green notes also make it really, really great to pair, especially, well, when we can get outside and barbecue and do that kind of thing. It'll be a pretty delicious wine.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. If I think to an American barbecue that I love, I really love, I can look at myself sitting with you, Steve, and having Bastioni to start and Collazzi to finish.
That
honestly.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, Bastioni cooking and Collazzi for the rest of the evening. Thank you so much, guys, and come to visit us in Toscana. You are welcome.
Yes. Thank you both, Laura and Alberto. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, H2 Vino, and of course, thanks team sorting table. These wines are a real revelation of something that is just so fresh and enjoyable. And to see the vineyard today has been really special, and to get to go inside the villa. If you do get a chance to go to Florence, as they said, it's only about a 20-minute trip outside. So a really easy day trip for a vineyard visit. And reach out to me. I'll be happy to set it up. Thank you, everyone. And I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope you both have a great dinner with all the open wine you get to drink now.
And a great aperitif. Have a good night.
Good night. Ciao, ciao.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.